Hi, traders. Wyckoff AM Trader here, editor of the Emini Market Timing Newsletter, the AM Turn, in your email inbox before the opening bell. Imagine how your life could change if you knew whether the high or the low of the day could be in the beginning or the end of the trading day. Here's how my subscribers to the AM Turn's trading changed. Before we get to that, here's a disclaimer. Yes, I have skin in the game. I trade my own personal account, sardine, tuna, billfish trades, or for educational purposes only. I am not a futures broker and do not manage any accounts. It is my intent to show where trades may occur. What you do is up to you. You can follow my levels ideas to profit or loss. You determine trade size, when, where, how you trade. CFD futures is not for everyone. It's a volatile, complex, and risky business. Before you invest, know how much you can afford to lose. Hello, traders. It's Wyckoff Trader with the early read. Today we're looking at New York time, the New York state of mind. I'd love to play some bumper music. I got a New York state of mind. That'd be the Billy Joel version, not the Alicia Keys, but it's cool. We're at 2020, as you can see, and we're all wearing face masks and gloves. Not because we want to, but we don't have a choice, which is quite interesting when the freedom wheel experiment is somewhat tested. We're looking at Friday, May the 1st. It's the first day of the week, first day of the month, last day of the week. Okay, we'll cut this out. Sorry, traders. This is for the WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email at YouTube@wyckoffamtrader.com and we'll get you on the fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about. And I'll have to look it up, but I believe WB may have passed away in May. For some reason, as I was writing, it was May the 2nd. Excuse me, May the 12th. It was on a Friday. Excuse me. And we were talking in chat, because you don't talk in chat, you type in chat. And I could tell. Either way, we won't get into that. That kind of tears me up when I think about it. Let's see the best way to go. Probably this way first. I've got some new subscribers, and I certainly do appreciate your subscription. A lot of folks have been signing up for this. You give me inspiration. We need to get that updated. So it's not that far out of date, but it is a little bit out of date. I'll be the first to admit. So we had some issues technically last night, so I apologize we didn't get out the market recap. You can probably tell in my voice a little bit hoarse. We'll definitely get everything caught up over the weekend. But once again, we look forward to giving you the opportunity to share the best of what WB had, and of course the Wyckoff also. Sorry, traders. This is for the WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email at YouTube@wyckoffamtrader.com and we'll get you on the fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about. Wow. We talked about it for the last couple of recap videos and in the newsletter. You know, by my eye, and that's a shout out to another trader. I don't think he's with us anymore either. But by my eye, I'm seeing the composite man selling on these rallies. And like I said, I talked to that institutional trader friend of mine, and he didn't think so. You know, and it's that same story, but by my eye, you don't move. Let me just give you an idea. We got to opening print. We do an opening print every Friday for Mr. Top Step. And they did an outstanding job. Outstanding job. The graphics and how it all put together and dovetailed into what our notion and ideas for the market were. I'll let you read it, and I'll kind of talk through it also. S1L day, and like I said, it's more bearish. WB automatically would have flipped the cycle from a bullish cycle to a bearish cycle. I held with the bullish cycle simply because, as I said, well, I guess I can just show you. If you haven't clicked on this, you definitely want to. I'll just do it right now. Don't think anything too crazy. We'll see here. You never know. It's YouTube. Like I said, I started a YouTube channel, but we're doing a little bit differently, and we'll talk about it here in just a minute. I always wanted to reboot my computer before I started, but we just ran out of time with all the stuff that was going on. And like I said, it's a 54-minute video. I won't be the first to candy coat that.
Hello, traders. I'm Wyckoff Trader.
That's me again.
Here's the private market recap.
That's good. 54 minutes. Okay, right there. And like I said, WB would say you might want to take. My WB would say you might want to write some of this stuff down. And anytime he said that, that meant, you know, that's pretty important stuff that he would not normally let out. He wouldn't necessarily say that to me. He would say that in chat, sometimes in newsletters, and when he would say things. So I certainly appreciate the subscribers that even subscribed yesterday. And of course, Brandon, once again, appreciate the shout out there also. And we'll talk about that again. But I don't know. I kind of let loose on this video and kind of channeled the best of WB and Wyckoff. And it's definitely worth sitting down and listening to for 54 minutes. Sincerely, not clicking out when you get bored, because I guarantee you won't get bored. And I don't normally share this type of stuff on YouTube, but I just felt, you know, this would be a good time to just lay it all out, how WB and Wyckoff dovetails to each other, and how the clocks, once you have a strong trend in place, how they have a tendency to really play out, and how they have the ebb and flows of the market. So this was the once in a lifetime opportunity that I'll ever be that detailed on a public YouTube access. And like I said, it's unlisted. I have access to the link. I'm going to do some interesting things. I might do something different with this video, but if you get a chance, definitely sit down with a piece of paper. A lot of folks say, well, Wyckoff, how can I learn more about WB? This would be a good start right here, guys. All right, so we'll get back to the opening print. And like I said, I take a great pride in what we do from the graphics, and I chose this graphics, and I challenge one of you guys to look at the picture here and see if you can find something that's no longer there. That was a beautiful thing when I saw it. But if you do get a chance, watch it and do some kind of interesting things with the graphic at the end. I'm kind of anal about that. I love doing stuff like that. But it took me a while to kind of find the right frame of mind, how I want to do the branding for the early read. But you probably should get it. It's New York City, early read, early in the morning. And if you get to the end of the video, you might see the sunset and the nightfall. I'll just leave it at that. And like I said, we're doing 2 now, which is a lot of work for me. I mean, I did over 300 or 400 videos on Vimeo, and you know, it wasn't YouTube, but it's the same thing. You know, I want to keep WB's work private. That's why I put it on Vimeo. But I figured out we'll do a private video, and then I will take the time and make it to a public video. And you probably listened, put a little music behind on the market recap. And I like I said, I like doing stuff like that. It's just a time issue, and I had to learn the software. But I'm a really, 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 really fast learner, and that's what blew WB away. He says, you know, Wyckoff, you've learned more in 3 months, in 3 weeks than most people learn in 3 years. I said, yeah, it kind of comes easy to WB. When you got a good memory, you don't forget. But once again, Brad, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's 54 minutes of drinking from the fire hose at WB and Wyckoff. And you might want to grab a pen and paper on that one. Unemployment yesterday, you kind of had an anticipation that what they did on the Fed already released their information. We had that major volume spike right at the end, and then Globex came up and popped it up. It was kind of like smack of complete manipulation of a terminal up thrust. But like I said, it takes 3 months, and you listen up there on the video, for a terminal up thrust to become terminal, because from Wyckoff's perspective, anything else was just an up thrust. Like I said, you're going to get hardcore WB and real-time, hardcore Wyckoff and real-time WB, or channel WB, I guess. 3 million, 30 million, 30 million, 30 million. That is
Drop us an
20%
email
unemployment in the
at
United States.
YouTube.
And you may want to research that. I did
whitecoffamtrader.com.
talk
We'll get
about
you
that,
on
the
the
differences
fast track
between
to understand what
2020
YouTube
and
and, what Wyckoff is all
1920. Yeah, that was it, 1920. How the unemployment after the Great Depression was rocking around 20%. And we're there now. And no one's really talking about that. That's why Trump's trying to jumpstart the economy. And I even made a comment there in that video. It's a good video. I mean, if you want to learn about Wyckoff and see a real-time current example, like the same day when I made it, this would be the video. This is real true WB right here. Looking at the clock, the spill was down with the AM high with the center time. The Bulls dropped the soap on the mid AM low and let the Bears take it below the spill late and strong in the 12 o'clock hour. I want to really look at that and understand what was Wyckoff talking about. What was WB's indication when he was talking about that? Either way. So the market off, the composite band has been selling every rally. And if you pay attention, I've been saying that for the last couple of days, if not into that last week prior. And then, of course, this week. And this is what I was talking about. They dropped the Dow 300 points. S&P, well, it was like 303 points, actually, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. WB was good for numbers. I was just great for events. Futures 43 points in the middle of a lunch slog on heavy volume. And I said, hey, that ain't never been done. And, of course, the institutional traders said, well, that's just, them drop down so I can get some more. I don't think so. That was somebody selling. And then, of course, the algos had to support the market, and they've been selling it. And that's what I was talking about. The Globex drew around the midnight. WB said the peons got over their skis. And we came working off that 29.65 high. And, of course, here we do. Pundits contributes a major pullback on Wall Street. You can almost guarantee they're going to use the word profit taking. No. They've been taking profit 3 or 4 days before. And like I said, the composite band had been doing it long before that. It was just the timing. It was the catalyst that the composite band was looking for. The Fed to do the right thing. And, of course, that trial treatment, man, that was just a great story to sell into. And it tore through the Yale. And Wyckoff helped Jesse Livermore. They phrased those words. I took advantage of a great opportunity and loaded some stock. And at 12 o'clock, they never knew what hit them. And nothing changes in the market. That's what Livermore always said. And like I said, that's what I went with S2L day. Looking forward, what we talked about was a change in behavior that really resonated. And once you think about this, I'll try to get it a little bit more real time. Give me just a moment to try to put it together here. We'll try to do it from a schematic standpoint. 29.65. Okay, that was the Globex high. Right? Okay, and we were coming down, and I'm just going to kind of draw it rough. Something like that. But what do you see? Well, the ease of movements to the downside. See? From here to here, from here to here, it's all seemed to be to the downside. All right, so we opened up, and of course went a little bit further. Then we got really low, and then we came up a little bit to the halfback. Of course, then a lot of volumes hit out. I guess we can show you that on a real-time chart. But if you paid attention, that daily, if you pulled up a daily chart, it looked like it closed in the middle. And Wyckoff would have said to put in an unfair high, put an unfair low, and close somewhere in the middle, and you're just waiting for something to happen. Well, Globex, they didn't wait very long at all, did they? They opened that puppy and they just ran it down. And of course, that's where we're at tonight. Well, we're at today. So that's where we're at right now. We're trading about 28.42, and we ripped out. I believe I talk about that. Ripped it out like 4 handles somewhere in here. Yeah, here we go. That kind of gives you, I want to read this. You can read it just as well. But at that standpoint, when you have this major sign of weakness, then once again, the last point of supply is what Wyckoff would have called that. So you can, we get spoiled because we want to see that B formation all the time. But that ain't going to happen in a more bearish trend. You're going to get the sign of weakness, last point of supply. It's amazing how he always kept the nomenclature the same. Oh, I guess it wouldn't be NOP. Last point of supply. There you go. And of course, now Globacks have taken that little puppy down to past 3 or 4 days high. It's in there reading somewhere. 28.30 was a low, and now we're trading about 28.44, 100 handles below the Yale. And that's why we want to use the Yale. Yeah, here we go. That's why we want to use the Yale, because it gives us a demarcation line. And guess what? The Fed was not negative at all. So once again, it took advantage of a good situation. There it is, past the 3 days, lows, and knocking on heaven's door on the 4th day of Friday. Who wants to go home with a trade on? And you got to be careful. Pretty much recovers all the loss. That would be more of a bullish trend. And, if we get ourselves oversold, that's really one of the things. And, of course, we also can be coming into that long-term demand line. So you just want to kind of sit back and wait for these things to happen. Yeah, that pretty much claws it out. But yeah, I was pretty happy with this. And like I said, definitely if you get a chance, sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and don't be distracted. Not that I'm so great, but it's a really great presentation on understanding how WB dovetails into Wyckoff. And that's why WB and I got along so well, because we both shared in each other's knowledge and benefited each other. Mess that guy. We'll look at the charts real quick. For the new subscribers, we'll definitely get you in the database. If not today, definitely be over the weekend. And like I said, if you have any new folks that have subscribed, drop me an email. Let me know. We'll get on board. And I'm not a big fan of talking about the past, but if you recall in this video that I made, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, and you have access to it. I haven't made those public yet. I think it's in this one I want you to listen to. The Wyckoff wave topped out right here. And by the time the E-minis was coming up, the Wyckoff wave, we'll try to draw it like this. It topped out here. The Wyckoff wave was coming up pretty much to a lower high. And that was one of right there. That was one of the more things you want to look at from that standpoint. So just keep those things in mind. Let's see here. Had a pretty decent day. And yeah, we pretty much covered that. You may have noticed yesterday I went more of a bearish tone, and the news wasn't exactly that bearish, but you could easily see that supply line was just going to really turn everybody's day up. And of course, now they're focusing on the infections. Real concern for investors, death toll, with all that. I think we're at 3 million infections and 238,000 or something like that deaths worldwide. I mean, just a point of contention, there's 150 people, 150 corporeal forms release their inner strength or they pass away every day. So either way, on the pros and the numbers, we're looking at minus about like a 1.5%. NASDAQ's definitely hurting the worst. Amazon said we're going to take $4 billion and make the place safe for everybody, which I can't imagine Amazon wasn't safe anyway. We're really reacting in quite an unusual way when, for the most part, it's not as common as the common cold, but I got mixed emotions. A lot of folks are getting it, and you sometimes wonder if it's just kind of that observer. But I don't know. I'm very fortunate, so we'll just leave it at that. It's been the Wyckoff wave, and you should see one thing here that we kind of talked about. We'll kind of draw it like that. You should see it. So you'd say put an unfair low, put an unfair high, and close somewhere in the middle. What he's saying is the buying and selling pressure is evenly balanced, evenly matched. From my idea, it looks like they were selling, getting out of a good situation, take advantage of the Gilead news. And once again, the major indexes, they weren't responding as much in kind. If you pay really attention to the ease of movement, say from this level here, that this should have really gotten it going on. Can you see that in your eye? Because I'm just barely recovering up for the top was there. See, as price should have been like something like that. But notice from this point here, the volume is increasing, but you have a divergence, effort versus result. And that's what Wyckoff is talking about. The effort to push this price up, see all these volume spikes, was being met with an opposing force. And instead of getting this, we got that. And we got price pulling back. So the supply was definitely hitting it at the last part of the day. Because guess what? They can't move that kind of size on glowbacks. So they wanted to try to get out as much as they could. You can make the argument they were getting out at the opening and then supporting it as much because they had just a little time and they had the algos to give them a false sense of security. But whatever happened these last 15, 20, 30 minutes or so, I mean, seriously, that is not normal. You don't see these volume spikes like this and price is coming down, okay? And that's where you get the indication of the intuition of what that next potential turn may be. But of course, we're now looking at glowbacks. So if you look at the Emini, getting the same sort of thing, only not as exaggerated. For the most part, unfair high, unfair low, close somewhere in the middle. It was a little deception because then volume started to hit it and the E-mini was pushing up. So once again, that's a divergence. But if you really look, it's really not that great because we were actually piercing below the trading ranges of that previous day. So for the most part, you can make the argument, surely you can see this with your eyes now, one level of ascent, and you're going to normally get this on intraday, two levels of ascent. Of course, a bit of an oversold position there. Rally to the what? Did you say Wyckoff? To the half back, pull back. Of course, you're going to get that support, but you should see, I can't pull it up, but you should see there's a lot less volume. That's going to encourage the late to the party bulls to come in. And of course, trying to get the market back up, but all along in the greater picture, you know, the general market was doing something like that. All right, so it's a Friday. Looks like D-Boys pretty much and Marlins on the same page. Potential bear movement in the works. Glowbacks put in the low at 28.30, and now we're kind of trading 28.50. Like I said, you could see that how deep is your 3 today being an S1, S2L day. Not really a place where you want to get long per se. You make your own choices as far as how that's going to play out. A lot of traders, if they've had a great week, then they just sit back and watch the wheels go round and around on Friday, or, you know, try to second guess what's going on. But that bear may look cute, but it will rip you apart and maul you to death if you're not quick enough. If it catches scent of your human scent and it's behind you and you're in front, you can't really outrun a bear. So we'll leave it at that. All right. We're looking at 918, New York City, the New York state of mind. I can't play Billy Joel because they got algorithms that listen to the music. And strangely enough, I added the music to the market recap because we put that on the SoundCloud. And a lot of the folks, they like to listen to, I don't know world why they'd want to listen to me, but they listen to it. And of course, they like the music behind it. All right, this is Wyckoff Trader. We're looking at the early read. And as always, be nimble, be quick. And don't let the market make you sick. Sorry, traders. This is for the WB proprietary work only. Just drop us an email at youtube@wyckoffamtrader.com, and we'll get you on the fast track to understand what YouTube and what Wyckoff is all about.